As countless individuals yell at their screens, decorating themselves with team colors, and feeling devastated because 11 people they've never met failed to win, there exists an enormous population who simply remain unmoved. According to brain science, their neural pathways may genuinely be structured differently. Keep watching, because what I'm going to reveal will fundamentally transform your perspective on the sports fanatic individuals around you. Here's what rarely gets discussed. Being indifferent towards sports doesn't indicate dullness. It doesn't suggest you're missing enthusiasm, and it certainly doesn't signal anything's defective about you. However, there's something captivating occurring inside your mind that's entirely distinct from the 60% of Americans who track sports devotedly. Let's address the fundamental question. Why do countless people invest such emotion? Humans evolved as group-oriented beings. Throughout millennia, membership in collectives guaranteed survival. Your community shielded you from dangers, assisted with food gathering, maintained your existence. Sports represent essentially contemporary collectives with superior branding. When somebody observes their squad, their mind produces oxytocin, the connection hormone, the identical substance that creates familial affection. Astonishing, correct? Their mind authentically deceives them into believing these wealthy performers belong to their community. Yet here's where things become intriguing. Individuals who don't fixate on sports frequently possess what researchers term reduced collective impulses. Their sense of self isn't as profoundly connected to group membership. They demonstrate greater independence. They're more inclined to declare, "I don't require affiliation with something greater to feel whole." And legitimate science supports this. A 2019 investigation discovered that individuals with minimal sports enthusiasm displayed significantly reduced in-group versus out-group mentality. Translation: they don't instinctively despise opposing squads, simply because they're adversaries. However, hold on. Things get stranger because what transpires inside a sports enthusiast's mind throughout competition is genuinely alarming. You recognize that sensation before unwrapping gifts, that excitement, that's dopamine activating inside your mind? Sports enthusiasts experience identical rushes throughout competition's every move, every moment. Continuous small doses of excitement and gratification. It's genuinely habit-forming. Research utilizing fMRI technology demonstrates that observing your squad stimulates identical pleasure regions as wagering and other intensely gripping behaviors. And here's the critical part. The unpredictability is what creates such potency. You're uncertain whether your squad will triumph. That randomness maintains the dopamine release. It's variable reinforcement, the most habit-forming reward pattern recognized by behavioral science. The identical mechanism that renders gaming machines so compelling. The process mirrors eerily other manifestations of behavioral dependency. Your mind doesn't differentiate substantially between various dopamine sources. It simply craves continuation. Individuals who remain apathetic towards sports, their dopamine mechanisms simply aren't activated by indirect competition, and this could be hereditary. Investigation from the University of Chicago indicates that differences in dopamine receptor genetics can forecast how intensely somebody values competitive observation activities. Consider that. Your absolute apathy toward whether the Lakers succeed or fail could genuinely be encoded in your genetics. Yet there's another dimension. Sports enthusiasts experience something termed burgeoning, basking in reflected glory. When their squad succeeds, they announce, "We succeeded." When their squad fails, they failed. Observe the language modification. Individuals who don't fixate on sports are less inclined to practice this mental separation. They're more steady in their self-perception. They don't require outside triumphs to feel accomplished. Their self-worth is more consistent, less reliant on circumstances entirely beyond their influence. Currently, before reactions intensify, I'm not claiming one approach surpasses the other, but I am stating there exist genuine mental distinctions, and comprehending them is captivating. Here's something appearing paradoxical. Sports enthusiasts frequently demonstrate elevated scores on particular compassion measurements. They rehearse investing deeply in other individuals' challenges, even when those individuals are unknown people wearing their squad's uniform. So why don't non-sports individuals experience identical compassion for competitors? It concerns compassion distribution. Everyone possesses restricted capacity for profound investment. Sports non-enthusiasts frequently channel that compassion toward alternative destinations, humanitarian movements, interpersonal connections, artistic endeavors, academic pursuits. A 2021 investigation revealed that individuals with minimal sports enthusiasm scored significantly elevated in receptiveness to novelty and appreciation of aesthetics and beauty. They're obtaining their emotional satisfaction from aesthetics, sound, environment, concepts. Their minds are pursuing identical rewards, significance, attachment, elevation. They're simply discovering it elsewhere. And let's acknowledge something additional. For certain individuals, remaining indifferent toward sports is genuinely a protective response. Perhaps they experienced harassment during physical education. Perhaps they felt ostracized by athletic culture. Perhaps they're resisting the hostile competitiveness frequently associated with sports devotion. Perhaps they simply never comprehended why mature individuals scream at displays over spherical objects. Your apathy might possess historical context, or perhaps you simply consider it tedious. Both are legitimate. However, here's the element that clarifies extensively why sports enthusiasts and non-sports individuals occasionally can't comprehend each other. It reduces to how you perceive significance. Sports enthusiasts discover significance in storytelling, the disadvantaged narrative, the resurgence, the dominance, the opposition. It's engaging because it's uncertain. Authentic existence drama with legitimate consequences. Individuals who remain indifferent toward sports frequently consider that randomness insignificant. They reason, why would I emotionally commit to an outcome I cannot influence, executed by individuals I'm unfamiliar with, in competition that doesn't impact my genuine existence? They're not incorrect, but neither are sports enthusiasts. It's simply two distinct strategies toward the human requirement for narrative and significance. One collective discovers powerful storytelling in championship pursuits. The alternative discovers it in literature, a partnership, an artistic endeavor, a scholarly breakthrough. Here's what investigators term parasocial commitment versus immediate participation. Sports enthusiasts construct unidirectional connections with squads and competitors. Non-sports individuals prefer dedicating emotional resources where there's genuine reciprocation, where their investment influences the result, where they're active participants, not observers. Neither is superior. They're simply alternative approaches for managing the human condition. Psychologist Csikszentmihalyi, who researched peak experience, revealed that flow conditions, those instances of absolute immersion, can be attained through infinite activities. For certain people, it's observing sports. For alternative people, it's genuinely anything different. And here's what's genuinely fascinating. Individuals who don't fixate on sports frequently describe experiencing greater awareness in their personal existence. They're not dedicating 3 hours every weekend experiencing another person's battle. They're participating in their personal struggles. There's something subtly revolutionary about that. So what does everything signify? If you remain indifferent towards sports, you're not lacking some essential human encounter. You're simply distinctive. Your mind's gratification mechanism, your collective impulses, your compassion distribution, they're all adjusted distinctively. And that's entirely acceptable. The following occasion, somebody inquires, "Did you observe the competition?" And you authentically couldn't care whatsoever. Remember, you're not defective. You're not tedious. You're simply participating in an alternative competition, one that could potentially possess greater importance. If this connected of you, you're likely going to appreciate why reserved individuals are genuinely processing data entirely distinctively than everyone surrounding them, and why that could be your greatest strength. Select one of these videos to discover why you reason somewhat distinctively than the masses.